Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas here with you this morning. And what a treat today. We are going to talk about the Holy Land. Pastor Sharon Carnes from Trinity Gospel Temple is here with us this morning. And good morning to you.
Good morning, Susie.
May I call you, for the sake of time, Sharon?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so
Definitely.
much. Well, Pastor Carnes, we are so happy to have you here. You've been to the Holy Land before, have you not?
Yes. This will be our 12th tour of the Holy Land out of Trinity.
So exciting. 12 times. Well, this is why I can't wait to talk to you, because you've seen things I've only dreamed of. You are going to be going, well, let's let everyone know right now, November 6th through the 17th on a 12-day tour. Most of them are only 10 days, but reservations are due on August 1st, and there are only, let's get this out there right now, only 8 spaces left. So that's why you're here with us this morning, to tell us a little bit about the tour and be able to get people knowing that they need to get their reservations in right now to be able to do this. Wow, where to begin? Let's go back in the past. What has been most memorable to you in the past as far as the trips you've taken?
Okay. I think one of the most memorable times, of course, was when I went the first time. I had always longed to go to Israel. That had been just the desire of my heart. I remember even as a child, I would come home. My father was a pastor, and I'd come home from school, and I would have him tell me about Israel and his support of the land of Israel and the Israeli heroes that were his heroes. And from that time on, I had a desire. And the first time I went with Pastor Lombardi and Mrs. Lombardi, and had the joy of being baptized in the Jordan River with some of our other staff people. And then the next tour and then on, I have had the delight and pleasure and honor of leading congregants and other Christians to the Holy Land.
What areas are you going to visit? Give us a little itinerary.
Okay, we are going to, of course, land at Tel Aviv, and we have the delight this year of going out of Cleveland. We have normally had to take a bus to New York and then go out of New York, but this time we are going out of Cleveland to Tel Aviv. And we land in Tel Aviv, and as soon as we get through the airport, customs, and we are going to tour Jaffa. And of course, we know that as being the biblical Joppa. We will visit the site of the house of Simon the Tanner. That location is still there. We will then board our bus and go to Caesarea on the sea. And the wonderful thing about Caesarea is that as we stand there as Christians, we know it was from that spot that the gospel literally went around the world, from that port. And the whole story of how the gospel came to the house of Cornelius. And from there we get to go to Netanya. That's my most favorite spot. I remember being there with my mother, and she said if I would ever move to Israel, this is where I'd want to live.
Why?
There is a strong fellowship, Christian fellowship in Netanya. It's a beautiful community, very much probably like our area here as far as the community and availability of sites and events, and yet it has such a comfortable feeling in Netanya. And so we like to stop and give our people the opportunity, because that evening after dinner, they will be able to just walk a few steps to the beach on the Mediterranean, and just a wonderful introduction to the land. We will go all the way then the next morning to Nazareth, the boyhood home of Jesus. And when we get to Cana, we allow married couples to renew their marriage vows.
Oh, for the wedding.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we always do. Then when we get that evening to Tiberias, we will have a little get-together for all of the people who renewed their marriage vows. And usually we will have stopped for inexpensive souvenirs, and so the other people on the tour always give little gifts to the people who renewed their marriage vows. So we are really joined together as a family on this trip. There are relationships that are forged on a trip to Israel that last forever.
I'm sure.
And so then we will go to our home away from home for several days, and it's located at Malgan Kibbutz Holiday Village, right on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. Every two people will have their own little cottage, and you can step right outside. They have a picnic table and a yard and everything you need, and a few steps away, literally, is the shore of the Sea of Galilee. And so we will meet there every morning for devotions. There will be one morning we will have communion together before we leave. And then we will go all the way to the north. Israel is a country that is only about 360 miles long, and yet you could
Wow.
and you can snow ski at Mount Hermon in the morning and go all the way to Eilat, and by afternoon water ski on the Red Sea.
It
It's a
sounds like
small
any
country.
day in Ohio.
Yes, yes. After the May we have had, but it's really true for a small country that is really about the size of our state of New Jersey. Israel has all those climates,
Wow.
and we have been from the north to the south. It's a delightful experience to see how God has blessed the land that He has given His name, because Israel means God governed.
Once you go up to the north part, what will you see there?
We
then?
will go to Caesarea Philippi, which is, of course, the location where Peter made his great statement, "Thou art the Christ," and Jesus made his statement. And it's interesting that location, it's called Banyas, but it is what we call the biblical Caesarea Philippi. It has had a Christian presence since the time of Christ. There has always been a Christian presence in that area. And what's interesting about that area is you go and there's a large cave on a rock, and that was called the Gates of Hell. And because they believed that Baal came up every spring and out
Wow.
of hell. And so you can imagine why Jesus used visually that location to make the statement that He is the Christ. He is the one. He is the one who is the source of our strength and our prosperity and our joy. And so it's an awe-inspiring place. We will also go into the Golan Heights to see why that is so important to Israel's security. We were there on one trip, and we got the privilege of going to both the modern as well as the ancient site of Katzrin. And we were able to actually talk with Israelis who are now in their third generation of living in Katzrin. And that was one of the areas that when they were in peace talks, they were just going to give up that area. And
right.
to be able to talk not to anyone but the people who've lived there for 3 generations, to say, this is our home.
Wow.
We had our children here, and now our grandchildren are here. And, of course, it is still a thriving community in the Golan Heights.
Yeah. Something so interesting that you do is take one day and volunteer.
Yes.
That's unusual. That's very unique to this trip. Talk about that a little bit.
We have always felt, the Bible, and we believe that the Bible is telling us the truth when it says that we owe a debt to the Jewish people. The commandments, the laws of God, the promises of God, the covenants that we live under. And so because we're indebted to them, not only do we want to go, and we receive so much every moment we are there, but we want to give back. And we've done several volunteer projects, but we do one every time we go. And there are also ministries in Israel that we support. We have volunteered at a pregnancy support center, and we took clothes and diapers, and because that helps them. And we have also volunteered at Joseph's Storehouse, which is located a little bit north of Jerusalem. They have a medical warehouse, a clothing warehouse, and a food warehouse. And I was assigned to the medical warehouse along with a group of people, and we had taken a nurse with us. And we actually were unloading huge shipping crates of medical supplies. We sorted through, and then we would repackage them to go out to the individual locations of hospitals and clinics and nursing homes. And we sorted through everything such as heart catheters, incubators, any medical equipment you can think of. And then nothing went to waste, because anything we had left over was sent to veterinary clinics throughout Israel, so nothing went to waste. Then we packed clothing, packed school supplies, backpacks of school supplies, because in Israel, every parent has to buy all the school supplies for their children. It's just because Israel's a nation that most of their domestic product goes to defense.
Yeah, right. Wow. Talk about, since you're going to be there November 6th through 17th, you said you hit every climate. I'm trying to help people pack here. What should they expect as far as weather?
Okay. We usually tell people to certainly bring sweaters or sweatshirts for a time in the north, and also in Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is in the mountains, and so it will tend to be probably around 60 to 65 degrees in Jerusalem in November. It will be warmer at Tiberias. In fact, we were in the Golan Heights 2 trips ago, and as we were sitting around a stove eating our lunch, it was very chilly, and there were like snow flurries. That happened to be the day that we were going to baptize.
Oh, no.
But by the time we got down to back down to Tiberias, to the Jordan River, the water was cold, but the air was warm. So that kind of, that's a short distance. And then it will be very warm when we get to the Dead Sea. We do go down to the Dead Sea. It will be probably in the mid to high 80s.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Okay, so pack for everything, basically.
Yes, and we tell people to do that, to just make sure they have a jacket or a sweater, layered clothes, because it can be cool in the morning, and it can even warm up in Jerusalem by afternoon.
The dates we're looking at, November 6th through 17th, I can't think of a better Thanksgiving/Christmas present for people to give each other than to be on this trip.
Yes, and I've often even said that no church could give their pastor and spouse a greater gift than to send them on a Holy Land tour. Their lives will be impacted, and their ministry will never be the same.
Oh, that is so true. You said the word lunch a moment ago. Let's talk about the food. There's nothing better than Middle Eastern food.
No, there is not, and it is the healthiest food. Even we were told by medical science that it's the healthiest diet. Included in the tour price is a buffet breakfast every morning, and anything you can imagine. I mean, that's the Israeli large meal, and anything you can imagine, anything you would walk into any buffet in America and see is on the breakfast buffet. It is a dairy meal. Our food will be kosher, so our morning meal is a dairy meal. And fruits, vegetables, fish, hot foods, a full salad bar, and a cereal bar.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Well, you're not going to want to miss out on this trip. Tell us, Sharon, how do we get signed up?
Okay. They can email me, and my email is teacher418@trinitybrotherdave.org. They can call the church at 330-453-2519, and they can request an Israel tour brochure, and that will be sent to them. It'll be a information packet as well as an enrollment form. We do want to get them enrolled quickly, and they will need to get a passport right away.
Awesome. All right. We'll be back with more with Pastor Sharon on Our Community.